Over the weekend, I came across some audio from an old interview with American actor and legend John Wayne, also known as the Duke, where he talked about the American left in his day. I want you to listen to this audio about what he had to say about American liberals. And it's interesting because this audio was probably in the late 60s or 70s, if I had to guess. John Wayne passed away of cancer in 1979 because he was a heavy cigarette smoker. So I would guess that it's probably around the 50s or 60s. But this audio, in which he talks about the American left, is downright prophetic, I think, because he hit his finger on something. But I want you to listen to what he had to say, and then I want to talk about it.
The funny thing, the Indians now, this AIM group have started something that now they're against me for some reason, but I am the only man in pictures that always gave them their human dignity. I never was in a picture. I never allowed myself at any time to do anything that would take their human dignity away from them, and that to me is the most important thing in a man's. I have found that a certain type that calls himself a liberal, now I always thought I was a liberal. I came up terribly surprised one time when I found that I was a right-wing conservative extremist, when I have listened to everybody's point of view that I ever met, and then decide how I should feel. I mean, but this so-called new liberal group, Jesus, they never listen to your point of view, and they make a decision as to what you think, and they're articulate enough and in control of enough of the press to force that image out for the average person. For some reason, maybe it's these pictures, they have not been able to do that with me. In spite of what they say, people have not taken sides that I'm it hasn't affected my career in popularity, let's say, in spite of the fact that they've tried to make it do it. There isn't a hell of a lot that we can do to change human behavior. We keep making laws to try and change human behavior. You can't do it. I think you can accept it and feel how you would feel in that position. You're being conned into Keynesianism and socialism now. But it isn't going to stop the selfishness of human behavior. It isn't going to stop the greed. If you take $20 and give $1 to every son of a bitch in a room, and come back a year later, one of the bastards will have most of the money. I mean, it's just human nature, and you're not gonna whip it with a lot of laws. I think when you make people conscious, as communication gets better, and you make people conscious of somebody in trouble, starving or something like that, the average person will help. But of course now they've got so damn many charities, and there's so much professionalism. You know, there's if you have a charity, you hire some professionals to work up the charity. By the time you get the money, you get $4 for the recipient and $400 for the administrators. So I mean, Christ. I think there are people who try to affect a thinking where they know more than some other son of a bitch, and try to put a false impression on what human nature is. Christ's sakes, we have proven that we go back to hope at the first opportunity, just throw out a little fish and bam, they're out there ready to grab it. So we are optimistic. We have to be optimistic. Christ, what else would there be in life if you lose optimism?
I love John Wayne. I grew up watching his movies. Fortunately for me, as a young man, I have the benefit of growing up with a close relationship with my grandparents, who were boomers. And because of that, I grew up watching John Wayne films. And I love John Wayne because he was always very pro America and he was unapologetic about that. And I find it interesting that the leftist media and people in the position of influence, political influence, would want to attack him as racist, even in his day. Isn't that interesting to you? Haven't you noticed that the media wants to slander individuals as racist just because they stand up against leftist policies? I find that interesting. It seems to me that things have not changed. When is the last time that you heard someone in popular culture be able to articulate why Marxism is bad, why Keynesian economics leads to Marxist and socialist policies? I've not heard that in my lifetime, and I'm 31. When is the last time that you heard someone stand up and give a speech in popular culture about why it is good to be an American? Refresh my memory if you know. Drop one in the comments. I'd love to hear about it. Because it seems to me, my friends, that it's out of vogue to be pro-America. It is very popular to hate on America, to show disdain for America, and to call for the destruction of America, as though America was some great oppressor. All the while, these celebrities benefiting from the opportunities that America gave them. I guarantee you, they would not have made it as big as they have if they weren't Americans. You have people clamoring to come to this country, and yet they sit on their high horse from their ivory towers and talk crap about this country. I'm sick of it. I love that John Wayne understood that no, we've not done everything right in the past. America's got a few warts on her nose, but the ideas of America are good and pure, and they should be celebrated and upheld. This country is worth fighting for. But I find it interesting that nothing really has changed. And really, if you understand history, you know that. History is not linear. It's circular. It runs in cycles. And the same tactics that they were using, the left, in his day, they are using now, just more extreme. I am sure, mark my words, there will be a time that someone will come out and try to brand me as a racist because I believe in individualism. I believe in Americanism. I believe in free markets. I believe in voluntarism. I believe that society best runs and operates on an individualistic basis where people can cooperate. I believe in free markets. And that, my friends, is not racist. That is pro-individualist. You can't be a racist and be pro-individualism. And so the whole argument is moronic. It's also interesting that Mr. Wayne pointed out that politicians want to pass laws to try to correct what they believe is bad human behavior. You can't do that. That is why it's important for society to be moral. And the best way to ensure good morals is through religion. A limited government society cannot operate unless most of its people have some sort of religious foundation. John Adams said that our Constitution was made for religious and moral men. That is the basis. That's why we're struggling right now, because we have forgotten the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. We have forgotten his teachings. And you can't have a limited government without a big belief and a firm foundation in God. Those things have to work together. I find it funny that most people on the left who would call themselves atheists, they're not really atheists at all. They have just replaced the God of the Bible with government. They want you to worship the God of the state, and it is a cult. I believe if John Wayne was alive right now, I could interview him and he would say the same thing. We need morality. That's important. Morality governs human behavior. And if you can't self-govern in your own heart with morality, which primarily comes from religion, the Judeo-Christian ethic, which comes from the scriptures, is the foundations of our government. And that's why we're in trouble, because we've forgotten that. I just wanted to take a few minutes to highlight this and to encourage you. If you have never watched a John Wayne film, you don't know what you're missing. There are so many. He made so many good westerns, so many good classic war films. I'll give you a few. El Dorado, True Grit. Definitely watch that one if you haven't. He won an Academy Award for that. The Sands of Iwo Jima. It's a World War II film. Watch that one. Watch Rio Bravo with Dean Martin and Ricky Nelson. That's a great western. So many films, I could list them all day long. But those are a couple good ones for you. And if you find this content beneficial, if you believe in the ideas that created this country, and you believe in the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, please like this video, please subscribe and share it. You know, I believe that we are in a better place when we remember who we are. That's why we're in the trouble that we're in, because we've forgotten who we are. We've forgotten what a blessing it is to be an American. And I want people to understand that today. That's why I'm doing this. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. See you in the next video.